So whenever you leave America and you go back to Kenya, once you land at the airport, what is or once you get home, what's the first thing that you miss about here?
Oh my God, I'll tell you the first thing that comes to mind, and that would be my last time experience, right? Soon as I go to the airport, so I think I landed at JKIA at midnight. It was the last flight at midnight. Of course, I got an Uber. I didn't want to disturb and not pick me up. Got my Uber. And as soon as I'm out of the airport, now I'm on the highway to the city to go home. There are things that you take for granted when you're in America, because I feel like they've sorted so many things that you don't even think about them, because now they sort things like you don't get blackouts here. You know? And that's one of those things that I had forgotten, Zeke. So I'm in the Uber and I'm chatting with, I've never forgotten my Uber driver's name. His name was Francis. And I go like, hi, Francis. So I'm seated at back left. And I go like, Francis, did you forget to like put on your lights, like your headlights of the car? And he panics because it's a busy highway from the airport. He's like, oh my God. He pulls over. And he gets out of the car to go check. And he comes back. He goes like, oh, Joy, the lights are on. I'm like, are you sure? The road was so dark. It seemed to be like...
That's funny.
It seemed like it was a bit too... And then he said, well, the lights on the highway are like solar lights. And I went back when it was like the rainy season, which means the solar lights are not all lit.
Right.
And I was not used to that. And then the blackout is one of those things that happened to me the first week after getting to Kenya from America, having stayed there for like a year and a half during the COVID. So I had kind of forgotten some things like blackout, lack of running water in a busy city. Where I go like,
is that the longest you were here?
Yeah. The other times I have been like just short visits, but that was like the longest. And it takes a year to like become a different human being, you know that?
A year?
A year, that's why psychologists, if you like went through a very traumatizing moment of your life, like losing a spouse or something, if you go for like therapy or something, they always recommend don't make any decision until a year. Because after a year, that's why after a year you can even, I had forgotten, like when I went back home trying to drive, sometimes I had to remind myself that we keep left, like you'd have to do this to remember that you keep left, because after driving on the right side for a year, your brain kind of adjusts completely to the other system. Yeah. So there were things like those. Also, when you stay here longer, the confidence, you don't go back as this Franken version of, you probably know that, but there's a difference between being a Kenyan, trying to express something that you believe is your right. You don't do that with full confidence. You know what I mean?
That's a good way to put it.
You know what? Yeah, you don't. You're like, so places like in Kenya, and that's like the political development side of it. When here you could like carry your placards and go like, can we cuss here on your podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. People in America, they just like, you guys like to complain about things. And
we do. It's okay.
So when you get here and you go with the system, it kind of builds in you that, I'm a human being. I have rights. But also I should express myself.
Also to kind of point out, you stayed here in one of the volatile years in American history, where there was a lot of riots and the Black Lives Matter movement and all that.
So I saw it all.
Yeah. So like being here, I'm pretty sure that kind of
there were campaigns, remember, during the campaigns. Everything was like, that's why I learned a lot. That was a very good period to like pick a lot of things, because during those times there's a pandemic, it's an electioneering period, there's campaigns going on.
Right.
Those are the times when emotions rise and you see people for who they really are. You see their pains, you see their joys, you see what really matters to them. Right. And that's when you study a lot of things. Yeah,
I mean, it was like very interesting to me too, because I've gotten vaccine all my life. And when the WHO, World Health Organization, comes to our street, they literally would just call us. They don't ask for anything. They don't ask my mom if it's okay to give it to me or whatever. They would just come, give me a candy and put it in my arm. So innately, you know, when the whole, that was also interesting for me to see the whole vaccination politics between the people thinking they should take it or not take it. I don't care either way.
Yeah.
But it was just interesting for me to see people express that right.
Me too. me too. Like, and they don't. You know how in America people just don't mince their words. I like reading the placards during like demonstrations or campaigns. People just go full out, and you don't. That's when you go back home.
Yeah.
That was one of those things. During that COVID season.
Right.
The fact that you could have a space and go like, I don't want to wear, and you can tell a cop that here in America, because I don't remember wearing the mask to be, I don't remember. Also, I think it's being in Washington, which is a very democratic space, environment. But so when I went back to Kenya, that was one of those things. I'm like, I'm sure I can tell the cop, like if I'm in the streets, why? And then that's when your guys go like, Joe, you're not in America.
Yeah.
Remember, you're not in America. Here, by the time you talk to a cop, you go like, excuse me, sir, I have rights.
You're going to be arrested immediately. You want to hear that?
You have what? You say that again. What do you have again?
You're going to be arrested.
You have rights? We're taking you in. Like, come and explain to us those rights when you're in there. So... So some of those things, the liberties just of being a human being and existing here, just being able to express yourself and exercising those liberties, that is one of those things that you note when you go back home. Home is not here. It's headed there. We've come from darker days, but we still don't have that space where activists, or you could just walk down the street and express yourself or exercise your rights in that sense. So we still have a long way to go in that regard.
Thank you so much. That was very well thought out and interesting point of view.